Yo, Astro World, welcome to another Hardwood and AstroTurf talk show. Peoples, World Cup going on, NBA is still going away, and we here to talk some more sports. You guys talking NBA, talking FIFA World Cup, exciting World Cup so far. Never cease to disappoint for the entire season. Some big surprises in that tournament. Peoples, guess who we got on the stream today, man? Guess. My boy Hawks. Hawks.
Uh,
Resurrected.
Gee. My man back on the
what's
stream.
up, guys? What's up, guys? It's good to be back. Took a little hiatus, but I'm back and ready to roll. Just in time for the FIFA special. Or like I said, this is the World Cup of surprises. World Cup of surprises. So I'm
For
ready to get
sure.
into it and start chopping up.
Nice, nice. We also got Keon on the stream.
Good night, good night,
Big
good night, good
England
night.
fan. It's kind of tough.
It's disappointing couple of days, but we move.
Yeah, we move on, huh?
We move.
It's fair. Keon here to talk some football as well. We got the maestro himself, Roy
Sure, you
Vaughan.
know who it is.
Jeez. Man in the
Right.
place.
What's happening?
Big up yourself.
What's happening, man?
How's life?
Not too bad. Not treating me bad. I eat a big food, but other than that,
Very cool.
I good, man.
Easy. Peoples, if you haven't already, you already know the drill. Hit that like button if you are in the stream. Do it now, please. And also, if you haven't followed us as yet, follow us at Hastro Bros. Like if you look at the bottom left, well, the bottom right of your screen, sorry, you'll see all of our social media platforms and the at Hastro Bros tag that you can follow us on. So, for any further ado, peoples, let me get right into it. FIFA World Cup has been exciting, has been interesting. We just completed the quarterfinals, some big games in the quarterfinals. Um, some upsets for sure. Some teams that should have gone through. If you look at some of the highlights of the games, you would have said, "Hey, this team should have gone through." But in order to get through, you got to take your chances and you got to put the ball in the back of the net when it counts. So let me start off with the elephant in the room: Brazil. Brazil quarterfinal game.
Oh, Lord.
Woo!
A big
Brazil fans,
upset.
yeah, Brazil fans about to sit back here now.
Yeah, a big upset. Hakeem,
Huge,
start us off.
huge upset. Huge upset.
Yeah.
So, like, watch this match from beginning to end. And, like, Brazil, the last three World Cups, they play, to me, some of the best football you can expect. They have the flair, they have all the big names, all the class, world class players, the potential goats. But when it comes on to taking their chances and putting away the matches that they should be winning, they somehow choke. And this has been like a recurrent theme since 20, yeah, since Russia. They lose in the quarterfinals. They can't get past that quarterfinal hurdle, and they're always the favorite, but they just can't get past. So when I watch this team, and I watched them against playing against Croatia, they were the more aggressive team. They had the better offense. They had chance after chance, uh, but they just couldn't get that breakthrough. I found Neymar wasn't playing the way he normally plays. I found the team since Neymar came back into the team. I found that they were trying to like filter all the passes, all the opportunities through Neymar. I thought Vinicius Junior was a little docile in the game. Croatia did an outstanding job defensively and just keeping him under control. And kudos to Croatia. They played a very good defensive game. And what was amazing with Croatia, that guy there, Luka Modric, the magician, little man in the midfield. He just he's like an energizer, but he's not stopping. He's running energy for days, making all these right passes. And if you notice too, he will drop from defense, almost between the centre backs, collect the ball, and then bring it forward to offense. And it worked. It worked. And they didn't give up when they went no 1 love in the first half of extra time. I honestly thought the game was wrapped. I thought the game was wrapped up. I was ready to say Brazil on to the semi-finals. Croatia pulled through a goal out of nowhere. And then they won their
A
penalty.
goal,
So
however, that I think shouldn't have materialized. I honestly don't think that that goal should have materialized. It
Brazil
was
lapsed.
limp. It was a limp
Yeah,
effort by the Brazilian defense. Keon, you got any thoughts on this game?
There's no way you're supposed to be getting hit on the brain every time 1-0. There's just
Exactly.
no way. There's no
Yeah.
way. Right. As I was saying, don't think Neymar was good. I don't know how he stay on the field. Obviously he stay on because he produced a bit of quality and they scored from it. But I think Vinicius should have been on a bit longer.
Mhm,
I would have hooked Vinicius. Um, Another note, I don't think for me thinking maybe think that we stop calling Croatia underdogs because second World Cup in a row, second
mhm,
semifinals. So I think that underestimation that we keep putting them under or yeah, keep putting them under, you're saying that we remove it because
mhm.
they keep performing, keep producing the results.
But that's only twice though.
they have been, but I mean, it's not easy to get back to
It,
semifinals.
it,
But
not
did
easy.
you really
Not
expect them to
easy.
beat? Did you really expect to beat Brazil?
No,
Did
I
you?
would say they
I,
expected to beat, but obviously, I would say they expected to beat Brazil, but that's why I say after the game, it's saying that we start like putting more respect on Indian because obviously they're
Croatia.
doing it over and over and over. So I would say
It
after
ain't
the
over
Euro,
and over and over, man. It's just
I,
twice.
after the Euros
That's
that
weird, bro. That's weird. Go back to
after the Euros that they had, I
Yeah.
wasn't expecting them to come back and play like this. So but then do
Mhm.
it again. So
But it's Brazil's fault. I mean, not to say that Croatia don't deserve any credit, but like Hakim was saying, if you watch the game, they they lack the ability to just finish clinically.
they don't have a
Neymar
striker.
took some shots that way. You know what I mean? Like make better use of that. You got men on the top of the D waiting. Like be a little bit better in front of the goal. That's all he's saying. And I think that that's what caused Brazil to lose that game.
I think the pressure has to be weighing on Brazil as well too. I think they would have been known to as I said from Russia to get they lost to Belgium in the quarterfinals. So all expectations there will be on favorites at any day, and they come to against a very good opponent in Croatia, defensively oriented. And I think the pressures are spread. They must win this match. They must win this match with 2 and 3 goals. It can't be a close game. And I think as a game, just whether down to the ending, they couldn't get that goal. This is right the time we're talking about. I think they
Yeah.
just started to choke. And I think part of me almost believes that Brazil had too many offensive stars. I feel like they just had too many stars. They had too many players to try to rotate, keep happy. They couldn't find the right lineup. You have Vinicius on the left. Neymar came back. I think that, to be honest, I think that offset the rhythm a bit. Because I really believe that they started to put everything through Neymar. Neymar slowed on the pace of the game a lot, trying to stall the play, a little one too many dribbles, and that often gave Croatia's team time to get back and structure their formation again defensively. But the pressure was real. The pressure was real.
Mhm.
If I'm also disappointed with the penalties too. I expected a little better of the Brazilians in the penalty shootout. I when I saw Rodrigo step up to the line and when I saw the way he was sweating, I was like, he gonna miss that. He's gonna miss that. There's no way he's gonna score. He was sweating bullets, bro. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Raybon, you got anything to add to this discussion?
Of course. From the we did a stream just before the quarterfinals. And I said to the guys at the time, you cannot go in there and play Croatia game. Because from the time you play a Croatia game, Croatia is a team that keeps the score pretty much either 0 or 1. Once they have a tight game, they always seem to come out on top. They thrive in the pressure more often than not.
Mhm,
And as Keon would have said, it is no longer a surprise or a shock anymore because they've been doing this for the past couple World Cups, and
mhm,
they keep having that underdog identity to them, even though they've been one of the most consistent teams through the past couple of World Cups. Brazil
yeah.
continues to get the praise. Brazil continues to get the attention, as Hakim would have alluded to. But at the end of the day, they were the better cohesive unit. understood the importance and the importance of execution and what's the word to use? Calm in the presence of resistance compared to the Brazilian side. From the from the
Mhm.
time I from the time I realized that I was going to go to penalties, I did not have faith in that Brazilian team to keep composure at all. At all. I know that there was going to be wide misses, and so happened, and Croatia came out on top with the victory as I would have expected, given how the game went out to play. That is a
Right.
before we finish. France is a good at France. World Cup win last 4 years is a good example of what needs to be done to Croatia. Put 4 goals in them.
Quick.
Put 4 goals. If you let it be a close
Brisk.
game, you don't that is to Croatia's favor. That's the style of
Yeah,
football that they love to play.
Yeah.
So that's it from me.
And
Fair, fair, fair
they
thoughts.
make extra time and penalties so often now
Hmm.
that is almost a regularity for them and they're
Exactly.
accustomed to it. So
yeah.
whenever it happens,
There's
it's another day.
Yeah.
not any part.
Let me switch gears and move to the Netherlands game. I know somebody that was in the stream a couple streams ago was a big fan of the Netherlands and and thought that maybe the opposition would have had a chance. Sorry, thought that the opposition wouldn't have had a chance, which is Argentina, I believe. Um, Thought to me through that game, a game that also went to penalties. Very interesting game. Wasn't I don't think it was like the Brazil game. I think it was a little bit different. Keon, start us off. Your thoughts.
It's you see the thing about this game, right? I had the Dutch winning because I still believe Argentina faking it and just playing through Messi. But 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 that's where you got Messi for. And I guess in this game they kind of the players around Messi kind of short this game. They short this game, and I guess that's what propelled him a bit more to put on his performance. Um, I am let me not say that I am biggest fan of the Dutch, but it's a good team. I just think they had the minerals to go all the way. Let me just put it that way.
Mm.
As we see, there was 2-0 down. Obviously, not come back. Brilliant,
Yeah.
brilliant hard.
They should have been able to come back.
So,
They should have been. That should have been it.
so talk to Vegas. Come on, come on, and did what was needed. I don't know if I'm holding away from you just for one football when you got everything. I guess that probably would have been better than just keep passing it around and keep the other play that way. I guess the other way would be better because that's how they got the goals. So that's basically it that I got of this game, to be honest.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I can be. You got anything to add or any like
What
different thoughts?
watching this game, the first half, I can't remember. I can't remember if there was a goal in the first. I think it was a goal in the first half and then a goal in the second half. But watching this game, I would call it boring. I was falling asleep. I was falling asleep. It's only when the game to me only really opened up when I saw Argentina got the second goal, and I was like, okay, this game is done. There's no way the Dutch is gonna come back at this point. But to me, the Dutch don't have identity. I can't tell what's the style of football. It's just haphazard passing, maybe a long ball forward. They don't have any. There's no unity in their play to me. They just knock the ball, maybe a long ball every now and then. I can't really tell what's the style of play. It's not attractive to watch. So like, I never wanted Dutch to win this match. And it's Argentina. At the time, Portugal was still in the running, so it was maybe possibly open for a Messi, uh, Ronaldo final. So I kind of wanted Argentina to win. But when Argentina scored his second goal, okay, I was like, this is it. And then when I made that sub, I can't remember the guy's name is from Netherlands. I came on, I got the goal and made a huge impact on the team. He also said his name earlier, but I can't remember his name. I can't pronounce it, I should
Uh, Ve-
say.
Vegas.
Like yours. And when he came on, made that impact, I was like, okay, 2-1. Things looking good. Dutch looking a little better. I think Argentina started to crack on the pressure, but coming on to the last 5 minutes of the game, they trying to hold on and they became a totally defensive unit. They stopped playing to the football and just started sitting deep. and I waited more pressure for Netherlands. And I saw this free kick in the last minute of the game. No, I just put up a way to wait now. Like,
Class.
can these guys actually score this goal? This would be I want drama. That's so much in the win. And I saw this kick. I was like, no way, no way, no way. I was like, whoa. Then let's put it through. And then for overtime, it was just all over the place. And then when we went to penalties, I must say Martinez from Argentina, he stepped up big.
Big
He
one.
stepped up big. Big. It's almost as if
Early.
he had a fortune teller telling him, go left. Or this one, go right. Because he was just diving right there. He was
Yep.
on something.
But this,
But
I don't want
uh,
I don't want. We forget to mention in the previous matchup, the keeper from Croatia. He was absolutely outstanding in that entire game.
Yeah, he
oh
Just
was.
yeah,
Yep.
must say,
Yeah,
he
yeah,
definitely was.
yeah.
I'm not sure if he got man in match. I would hope
he
he
should
did.
have.
But
Modric probably got money match.
Um,
Modric was
yeah,
all over the court,
I think
all
Modric
over the
scored.
field,
I
as you
think
say.
Modric scored.
Yeah,
yeah.
but we got to take a moment to appreciate that greatness that we see on display from the Croatian keeper in that
He
game.
should be getting a big contract. He
Yeah.
should be getting a big contract. Or he should be making big moves. I should say if he doesn't already play for a big club in Europe, he should be getting a big move over maybe the January window or definitely summer window
For sure.
for sure. Yeah, but Martinez for Argentina, he did an outstanding job in that penalty shootout. Uh, at a point in time, I just thought Netherlands did one score. I think they scored one out of the four, and I was like,
No, no, no. They scored. I think it went all the way to the fifth
this one.
shot. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I think they
But
got
look, the first two got saved for sure,
yeah, yeah.
and then
First two big saves by Martinez, and then
yeah,
Mm-mm-mm.
Argentina
Argentina
missed
missed
one.
one.
Yeah,
Yeah, and then yeah. So I just thought that wasn't Netherlands doing. But I'm happy at India. I'm happy Argentina won. I would prefer for Argentina to go through. I'm not a Messi fan, but you know we'll see we see the predictions later. But if Messi is the winner, I can't be mad at Messi. But definitely Messi over the Dutch.
fair enough, fair enough. Um, Switching gears again because we got two more games to look at. Portugal versus Morocco, one of the biggest, I guess, surprises. But then, if you were watching the World Cup, you can, huh?
I predicted Morocco. I predicted Morocco to win.
No, no, but I'm saying like is the biggest upset because you wouldn't expect Morocco to come through. But if you were following the World Cup, you would have seen the tenacity that these guys play with, the passion and the amount of fight that they put up against all the teams that they've played so far. So, Rayvon, we can start with you. Any thoughts on this game? I think Rayvon
I'm not
skipped
sure
a little
where
bit. Yeah, we can transition to Keon to kick us
Yeah,
off.
yeah. For me, the biggest story of this game is how defensively compact Morocco are and continue to be conceded only a one goal, like John, I believe it is.
Mhm.
That's a big storyline for me. Um, I thought Unai was brilliant in their midfield as well as Amrabat. I feel like this Morocco say everybody just chips in and continues to chips in,
Yeah.
continue to chip in and give their all. So interesting to see the French game. I think that's where their run end, but we'll get there. Um, but I
Can't
think it's
count
gonna
out
be
the
a good
Moroccan
game.
side.
Yeah, I think it's be a good game there, but I think that's where their run would end.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
game could either be a washout for France or it can be a good back and forth game and Morocco will probably end up losing eventually. That's the only way I see this game going. I don't see Morocco beating France, but Hakim might got some other thoughts. So what are you thinking, buddy? What are you thinking?
I don't want to jump the gun to my prediction yet, but I don't believe in Morocco. But as I said, I'm one of the few that I get outside of the people from Morocco that predicted Morocco to win. When I watched Morocco play against Spain and watch how they play as a unit, they're able to knock the ball past in their defense and move straight up to offense and come back. They have dribblers, they have passers, they have structure to their team. They are a very, very, very good defensive unit. As Keon said, only one goal has been scored on them the entire tournament, and that was by their one player. So, so
Hey,
they know how to stop goals, and then to add, their
That's
keeper
very
is a world
impressive,
class keeper.
actually.
Very impressive. And they were not an easy group. they had difficult opponents to play. So and then to beat Spain, previous World Cup winner, then to knock out Portugal, back to back rounds, very very
Yeah,
impressive. So
big
as I
wins.
watch this Portugal game, I'm a Chelsea fan. So Hakim Ziyech, as a Hakim man myself, you know what I'm saying? But Hakim Ziyech played really well. To me, he is their he's a crucial part, a critical part in their offensive identity. The way he's able to just make those through balls, those unorthodox through balls, the direct ones over the top, switch the play. He's him and Buffon, great in the midfield. As I said, to me, Morocco has that they play that flair. They play, in my opinion, they play like a Brazil, just a little more structured in the defense. They really do play with flair and they have class. They have a lot of players from Real Madrid, Chelsea, all throughout Europe. And when you look at the Portuguese team, they're a good team as well. But I just felt as if they were lacking that 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 striker, that finishing touch. They had a plethora of midfielders. Obviously, they had the goat. Cristiano Ronaldo is the goat, but they have the goat in Christie. Uh, Unfortunately, he wasn't given as much time as I would have liked, or some persons would have liked. But I think Portugal just was finishing that missing that striker. So Felix played well. Bruno Fernandes played well. Their players played well, but I think the Morocco team just was too quick to shut down every attack. You look at them, you have more than one player constantly applying pressure to the opposing team, whoever had the ball,
Mm.
like pressure. And I said their ability to play from the back is quite impressive. Like in tight spaces, utility keeper. So I have I have Morocco to win. It was no surprise to me. I'm very, very happy and shout out to them being the first African team to make it to the semifinals. They made a history in this World Cup. This is the World Cup
Yeah.
of surprises, dreams, hopes. This is a different World Cup, So
Yeah.
I'm very, very happy that they made it to the semifinals, especially being the first Africans.
You think they have?
And I got them to beat France. Nah, I mean for real, I mean for real. I would love them to beat France.
Oh, you will love them to beat France, boy.
It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough. Because the difference between France and Portugal, France has some talented offensive wingers, triggers. They got Mbappe, they got
Got
Griezmann, you
pace
got
on the
Dembele, you got
wings.
pace on every wing,
They got good
and
finishers too. And Mbappe show
very,
you
very,
time and
very,
time
very good
again.
finishers. And they got
Yeah,
Giroud, a
Giroud.
quality
Yep,
striker.
exactly.
So that's the difference. The chances that Portugal had that they could have finished, which were very few, France just needs one or two and they might go goals. So France is that kind of team that can get three shots and get three goals. So it's going to be very, very close. And then not to mention too, Morocco is fine in the first half. It's almost as if they exert all their offensive threat, and then the second half they kind of sit very deep and start to become a very defensive unit, and then they don't really play their style of football anymore. They start a little too defensive for my liking. It's working so far, but if you do that, you can't
They
defend
might have
against
two
a whole half
styles.
of France. I guess so, but it's very risky to do that against France in the second half, in the entire second half. If they do get the lead in the first half, that's difficult to do against France.
And that's a big if too. Keon, any thoughts on what Hakim mentioned?
Yeah, I just can't see them being as defense. They can obviously be still play the same system and defense be compact, but I think it's going to be a lot easier for France because the more Griezmann is in and the way he's playing, he may create everything himself and just and everything will just follow on from there. So
Mhm.
we just see how time plays out and we can goals, but you can't really see them doing much against France.
Yeah,
Fair
Griezmann
enough.
in the
Fair
mood.
enough.
Griezmann. He's not been playing for Atletico Madrid as much, so he got to be fresh and ready to play some football.
Yeah, that's for sure. But I finally get a chance to be on the pitch. Rayvon, you got any quick comments on this game,
Uh,
Morocco and yeah,
Not particularly. Again, Morocco has topped the group stages. They went on to beat. I can't remember who they played
Spain.
in the round.
Spain.
Spain in the round of
Yeah,
16. Taking out two big sides, and that's evidence of a quality team. going
Mhm.
up against France is probably the ultimate test because France, like I think everybody could agree, probably has the best chance of winning the World Cup on the whole, given who's left in the competition.
Yeah,
It's going to be difficult to see them beat France in that case, but as it relates
that's
to,
true.
yeah,
I never really thought about who was left in the
yeah,
World Cup and who's got the best chance right now.
yeah,
Looking at
Let's not forget
that
what Keon
shaky
said.
art, huh?
Croatia is no update. Let's not forget what Keon said. Croatia is no elevated their status. Croatia can humble France.
I
Croatia make them beat Argentina.
I won't go that far just as yet,
They
Look,
beat,
it's
wait, wait,
so
wait. They
it's
beat Brazil, you know. You beat
genuinely,
it's so
Brazil.
tempted.
hmm
It's
but
so tempted
but
to
but they
say
Listen.
beat a Brazil that was
Hey,
not
hey, hey,
clinical. They,
what? They scored. They supposed to score 10. The other
before
team?
that is,
but that's
Yeah.
before that
Brazil's
is,
fault,
right.
Uh,
right? But
the team.
you will hope France been playing. But watch it. We've seen glimpses of Brazil not being the Brazil we expected to be. Like they had some close games that shouldn't have been close games, right? France haven't really showed us any glimpses of weakness throughout the World Cup so far. France has been solid right through.
I could I could
Mm,
push back on
they
that.
lose, they lose,
I feel
that
like
I don't think that was down to.
yeah
But
that
Hans, you
that
got res any team right that beats Brazil goes to the finals. You know, for the most part. You look at 2010,
that's
right?
such a bad
You look,
statistic.
nah,
Yeah.
you look at 2010, right?
Brazil fans,
Netherlands
boy.
beat Netherlands knock out Brazil in the quarterfinals. They make finals. Germany trash Brazil in the semifinals in 2014. They make finals. So it's like 2018 was a exception. Belgium beat Brazil, but they went to semifinals, but they didn't get to the finals.
Mhm,
But any team just about that beats Brazil, they've got to be a legitimate team.
mhm.
It can't be a joke man or joke team to beat
I
Brazil.
I ain't
So
I ain't downplaying.
Croatia is no.
I'm not downplaying Croatia at all. I'm just saying the caliber and quality of football that France that has been playing so far. I don't think that they got what it takes. But you know, then again, Croatia don't got to play France in the semifinals anyway. So
So, um, I just wanted to
Semifinals.
touch on the fact that that oh boy, it drawing a blank here. What are you talking about? Oh, I felt as though we didn't get to this match right as yet. I think, but
England
the
that's
France.
English,
next.
the English,
France
yeah.
France versus
Let me
England.
start it
Yeah,
out here now because I
yeah.
can say
Go
this.
ahead.
Um, England had a great shot to beat France and send them home in that game.
Wait, beat them.
Yeah,
Beat them.
I think they did have a
That's a stretch. That's a
no.
stretch.
I think they
He
had a.
was the
I,
better
Which
team.
teams beat
He was the
them?
better team.
I
He
think
was the
England
better
had
team.
Which teams beat
Not by
them?
miles.
no.
Not by
They
miles. He
had the
was the better
best
team.
chance. They had the best chance to beat France out of anybody so far for the tournament, and they did just like Brazil, crumbled under the pressure. Harry Kane sent that shot to the moon. I don't know what he was thinking.
Yeah, second pen.
I do not know what he
That
was
pen was
thinking.
terrible.
And to
That
me,
was terrible.
generally in the second half, I feel like England had France on the back foot for in the majority of that
Yup.
second half and just did
Yup.
not convert. Truthfully,
Yup.
they played like the better squad on the in the second half of the game where we say it would matter most, but didn't convert. Generally speaking, but again, at the end of the day, football is coming down to execution. No matter how much shots you got on
Football play on
target,
the day.
yeah, no matter how much passes, how much possession you have on the day, you got to put the ball in the back of the net, and they just
That's the
had the
thing.
prime opportunity to send home France and probably be the favorites to win the World Cup. But they really
I can't. I
that's
can't.
that's
I can't agree, man. Right?
that's
Can't say
way.
stay home.
What
I think
if they
they
had
better
beat them, where
team
they would have gone?
because they were never in that game, to my recollection, were they leading. Because France scored the first
It,
goal, if I'm not mistaken. Right? They were never leading, so they were always trying to stay in the game.
That was a
And
foul. That was a foul.
which was it? Which was this? Which was this? Which was
That
this?
was a foul on Saka. That was a foul.
You mean that? You mean that? You don't get free
Man,
kick.
clear you.
You don't get free
Man,
kick.
clear you out. No. I
It
get
was,
free guy.
it
Man,
was,
gonna spray at the side.
I mean, these things happen. But these things happen. It can't be in the past. But what I will say, England did have a great opportunity. They were the better team in the second half. I will say that. But it's not like they had plethora of chances. They had a couple shots, some wall shots. But you know what? The part of the team. You know the crucial member in the team, the goalkeeper. You can't say that England played the better game because they had more shots. The keeper for France is outstanding. He saved them. He picked them. England had to score penalties. No, granted, Harry Kane should have scored the second one, but England deserved to go home.
And they
They
should have had
played.
another one earlier. And they should have had another one earlier.
France should have won too, but
Right?
Yeah,
Right?
yeah. At the end of the day, yes, England lost, but it just felt as though they had a great shot and they were in situations where they could have sent home and just didn't execute. I felt like they generally played a better second half than France did. Truthfully,
most
that's just
definitely, most definitely.
from my perspective.
As someone who supported France for that match, there's
That's
where
why.
it's two
Bias
halves, right?
feedback.
France had the
Yeah,
better
yeah.
first half. They had the better first half. I mean, that's where it's two.
Yeah,
So England had the second, France
Mm.
had the first. The French half was better or superior than the England's
I
half.
I think England had France in a good tight spot in the second half. To be honest,
Tight
they
spot.
they had a lot of attacks that could have
yeah.
materialized easy. Like Rayvon said, the pressure got to Hurricane, which I
He should
guess the
have
World
passed the
Cup
ball
is
up.
the biggest stage, to perform
No,
on. And
he's been
He should
wanting
have
to
let.
that Spurs for years. You know World Cup. It's
I
just me,
mean,
blood.
For years, he said.
you know, nervousness maybe. Who knows? But he took a first good
I guess
penalty.
Keon.
It was tall. The first penalty was good, and who knows? Somebody probably put a dink in the penalty spot, and that caused him to. Who knows? You can make a bunch of excuses for Hurricanes miss. At the end of the day, it was crucial to the success of England, and it didn't materialize. So it
As
is
Yeah,
what it
he,
as
is.
as
when
an
they saw
England fan,
him.
what you can see it,
Mhm.
it could have been down to a lot of things. It could have been down to the fact that Southgate, South wasn't as good as they could have been. It could be down to the fact that the referee was awful. It could be down to the fact that KMAs. The main fact is that we weren't clinical enough to score the goals and ultimately go through. That's how we see it. So
I
Yeah.
agree with you, sir. I put down. All right, I'm gonna say 25%. Zane goes to Hurricane. He has to score that second penalty, and if he believes in his heart, he's not mentally ready to hit that second penalty because the fact that the goalkeeper was his teammate and they've played for years, so they know each other quite well. He should have passed the ball to someone else who's capable of scoring and let them have opportunity. But don't take the
He
ball
should have
away.
let
Don't
Saka
put
take his own penalty.
Saka, Jude, Foden. Henderson's a very good penalty taker. Not the best player, but he's a very good penalty taker. They had numerous. Even I can't say McGuire. It was on. He almost caught myself there. But they, they
McGuire
had
take
they
a
had
penalty. What are
players.
you talking about?
Yes, but I can't trust McGuire in the biggest stage, man. I can't trust McGuire in the biggest stage.
Huh?
I will. I would rather
Maguire
take the
finished
L. I rather. Huh?
in the Euro penalty shootout. Maguire put his penalty top things. You can't get more
Yes.
comfortable than that.
Is Harry Kane the first thing to do? It's not good when you top corner, but a slight inch above, it goes to the moon. So I cannot trust
Harry,
McGuire. No. Can't trust McGuire.
Harry Kane just had to pass the ball down the middle and he would have scored.
I believe he would too. But I wanted. I said I wanted more drama. I wanted more of the match. It was a very good match. I wanted more. I wanted extra time, but it was not meant to be.
He
And I
just gotta
think
take a page. Yeah, he
Red
just
Team
gotta
won.
take a page from Messi's book and be cool, calm, and collective, and he take the penalties. Anyways, people,
But
we're gonna take a
before you
break.
go, salute to
So yeah,
to what Keon said. Salute before you go. Keon mentioned it right, but you didn't finish it.
you got 30
When
seconds.
when you say a Spurs player, show me a Spurs player, show me a loser. They ain't a good Spurs player. And a good Spurs player.
Anyways, people, we'll be back very soon. Don't go too far. We'll be back. See you soon. We are back, peoples. We are back to get some predictions for the semifinals of the FIFA World Cup. We're not going to stick up too long. Hakeem, who you got for the first lineup? France. Wait, was it? I forgot the lineup.
Argentina,
That's
Argentina,
France.
Croatia.
Yes, I was going to go France, Morocco, but yeah, go ahead. Argentina, Croatia. Croatia.
We
Thank
ain't
you,
all, we ain't
Keon.
all,
Just kidding.
no, no, no. I would, I do believe the teams that beat Brazil are legitimate contenders. I'm going to say that my Messi can take Argentina to the finals. I think Messi really needs this to cement his place as the GOAT or to make it.
What was the point of mentioning that you think the team that beat Brazil can go through? Like, what was the point of
I,
mentioning that and then
I,
to say
because
Argentina will go through?
because they are legitimate, right? But I still do believe terror lies for Croatia. They run extra time. Although Argentina they do as well, but Messi, Messi's in a different mood this World Cup. And although Croatia's gonna play the more stylish football, the better football, they might have more possession in the game. When it comes on the end, I think Messi's gonna pull Argentina through. I can't go against Messi Argentina right now. I didn't even having to get this far, but once they get this far, I think Argentina's gonna win
Man, Keon, who you got, Keon?
it.
I so tempted to say Croatia, but as Hakeem was saying, the mood that Messi in, he's a man on a mission to win his World Cup. So I think this game get extended again, but I think Argentina is good. Argentina gonna pull it out.
It's hard to go against the little man, the magician.
Right on. Who you got?
I
Because these men
I
got
got
tired.
I got my eyes set on Croatia to beat Argentina.
Finally, somebody talking.
Specifically because um I believe that they have a team that could. Well, I mean Messi's a difficult cover, nonetheless. But team wise, I think they have the discipline and the organization to make sure that make it a little bit difficult for Messi to perform. And with that alone, because Argentina is so Messi dependent, if Messi doesn't perform, then they ain't got a chance. Just simply like that. If I presume it will go down a same typical path as it went on with Brazil,
Mhm.
you can be in a pretty close game. You probably can be love all at 80 minutes, maybe going into the game.
Mhm.
If it goes down the same path, if you play that Croatia style, you end up in penalties in a high pressure situation, Croatia will win.
But but
I
saying
ain't got a
saying
butt.
that,
I ain't got a butt.
but saying that, the penalties that Argentina had, yeah, they dealt with the pressure well, except for Fernandez and so. So
But you see,
for the
well,
most part, for the
Croatia
most
The
had
I
that
don't
part,
think they're gonna get that
exception.
Argentinian,
far.
Croatia
I
had
don't
that
think they're gonna get
exception
that
though.
far. I think Argentina gonna put two of them earlier. But
they don't think we get penalty there.
earlier clock. You got times for these goals, buddy? I haven't been convinced by the Argentinian attack so far to say that Argentina is that team that's gonna put some quick wins in Croatia.
Correct.
Croatia got to lapse heavily in order for that to come to pass. And again, I haven't seen Croatia, no, not Croatia, Argentina in the place that they should be attacking ways in order to pull through this one. I think this is the final step on their way back home through that door.
don't
So
worry about.
um,
Well,
I
they
I
still
got
got they still got
Croatia
third place
to
match.
I got Croatia to win either 1-0 or 2-1.
To score two goals. That's a low.
Yeah.
You're
For me,
asking for
for
a
me,
little much. You're asking for a little
if
much.
Croatia wins, it gonna be a one love or penalties. I don't see them. I don't. They don't got the striking power to to score two
1-0
goals.
or 2-1. Mark my word.
All right.
1-0 or 2-1. Morocco
Again,
versus. Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say it can definitely be a close game.
Yeah, I think it'll be a good game. I think the keepers are going to be, turned up to all, and it will all depend on who got the better attacking side and who's going to convert their chances as efficiently as possible. So We'll see. Only time will tell. Morocco versus France. Let me start with you, Rayvon.
I think it's a no-brainer to some extent. I just feel like
No, very nice.
to some extent for me, I just saying, all right, yes, Morocco, similar to Croatia and Morocco are similar in some aspects.
Yeah.
A team, yeah, I guess to some extent I would say that Croatia is quite defensive focused to some extent. They had a player that was all over the, Modric was all over the field, but they had a specific defender. I don't know what his name, but he had like kind of like this black like, face band or something like that.
Yeah, the mask.
He was
Guardiola.
The boogeyman.
he was he was ridiculous on defense.
Hmm.
Um, I just they have a similar type of style. They don't have the offensive punch that these other teams have, and I also feel that France has a good balance of offense and defense when compared to this team.
Hmm.
I think that essentially will overthrow them, especially on the attacking end. You got
But
you got so
or you
much
got to say
speed.
Argentina.
Huh?
Well, Argentina, not France. If you honestly got them, I was talking about the finals already.
No, no, I talking about France. I talking about France versus Morocco.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was just comparing Croatia and
Oh, okay.
Morocco in terms of style, but
Okay.
I just don't think that Morocco has the offensive firepower to match. Man, France always usually comes out early and drop two goals in them. What they can do there? You understand what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Like
Yeah.
they might have the fight maybe to get back a goal, but probably later down in the second half, I just don't see they have that punch that France will have, especially on the offensive end, and still have people to back it up on the defense.
France could win this easy. France could play wing football first half and keep keep them pace in the time for a little bit later if nothing comes to fruition, and then a lot of fast break football and some tiki taka in the midfield. I
You see
think
that?
France. Go ahead.
Go
No,
finish.
no.
I was saying I don't think France have got that transition that them are so good at in this game. I don't
Mm,
think that Morocco is going to allow them to get have that transition because they're so defensively compact
right.
and they don't often come out to don't often lose shit. So I mean, it may happen once or twice, but I don't see it happening.
Once or twice is two goals,
But
buddy.
but
We
but
know that.
but but Mbappe is going to back this game. Expect to perform this game. Come on, walk up pocket. Sorry, man. Sorry. Come on, walk up pocket. Yeah, expect to back this game. Um, and I said before, I expect France to create enough
Yeah,
that they can win the game.
yeah. I, I don't think it's gonna be a blow. I just think France can win regardless. Just put it on paper. France can win. If you gain bet money, put your money on France. Hakeem,
Mm.
are you working
Alright, so
with?
I got to put a little context into this, man. I feel like
And he can still
I
say
want
France.
more.
Watch.
Hey, I want Morocco to win. I think they have what it takes. I'm not gonna. You guys think easy, 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 man. This is gonna be a close match. I think it could potentially be a high scoring match. When they say high scoring, 3-2 to all, then penalties maybe. But I think it has the elements to be a great match. You look, you said Mbappe. You gotta realize Mbappe plays left wing. The right, the right wing back for Morocco plays with him at PSG. Hakimi. These
Uh-huh.
hacks say stronger. Hakim Ziyech,
Listen,
Hakimi,
listen, 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 listen. Hakimi ain't got nothing for Mbappe.
Hakimi,
Nothing.
Hakimi is ready to hold Mbappe
Nothing.
down. You talking about okay,
These
walk
players
high
Nothing.
in
play
pocket,
together, but you don't see these players at training, so you don't know.
bruh, bruh. These
You
men
don't
know
know
each
the
other.
dynamic between these two players.
You play for PSG, you play for a quality team. Hakimi can hold Mbappe. I'm
Yes,
pretty
right.
sure they can
So,
hold
So
Mbappe.
so he's
you know
playing
what?
with Mbappe for the most part.
You know what? Where them is such good friends. Just so that Mbappe will get easy for you in training. That's it. Ain't
Uh, that's a good one.
you can see Mbappe's dog go at you.
So
That's what
usually, so
happened.
that being said, it's all about France, man. But
we know, we know, we know.
but I would
Let's
love to see. I can put some variables in it.
gas up
If
Morocco to just go
Nah,
to
because I don't
because
think it's gonna be easy way. I think it's gonna be a close one. If it gets to penalties or gets to extra time, I think Morocco's gonna pull through.
what's the
If it doesn't,
percentage or the probability that this game will go to penalties in your estimate?
uh, almost a 30%. There's a 30% chance because
30?
Morocco is as good as any team in this tournament I've seen in the first half of the game. Second half, I said they get a little more defensive. I don't know if it's fatigue or that's their way of just deciding that you know what they don't have the stamina or the power or the offensive threat. The subs they don't have quality subs. France has quality subs. That's the difference between Morocco and the other teams. They the same 11 guys playing match in match out, just going through to the wire. Well, France were taking their players, especially their offense. You see that backup striker for Morocco? He has to be the worst striker I've seen at this World Cup to this day. He is terrible. So you can't bring him on and expect a goal. So if it's a close game, I think Morocco is going to go to the wire and Morocco will win. 30% chance. But if France gets, if these goals start scoring a little too early in the second half, and France gets that to 2 lead or 2-1, it might be over for Morocco. But I would still love Morocco to win. So that's a prediction we have. France.
Money and love. Two different places. That's fair. That's fair. Peoples, if you got your own predictions, put it in the comment section. You already know where the cast going. France for all of us against Morocco, and then Croatia to Argentina. Two people choose Argentina. So we can leave it at that.
It must be known. It must be known. I don't want Argentina to win. I don't want Argentina to win. I would rather prefer
Okay.
Croatia to win.
So what's your
Right.
prediction? What's your final prediction? Come over on
Argentina.
this side. Come over on this
Argentina.
side.
Argentina.
Come on, sticking with the
But I
guns.
want I
Anyway,
want Croatia to win.
that's cool. Hakim want Morocco to, but
I,
you know
I
France
just
gonna
know
win.
I know France got
Silver
that. France got that
point.
remedy.
I
Subs, the
understand.
subs, the subs. If there was no such thing as subs, Morocco. But the subs, man.
No such thing as subs. Okay, sir. Um, big news. You can change gears a little bit. Big news for Beijing F1 fans. In I don't know if you guys have been following, you guys that are watching, but your guy Zane Maloney come up the rankings from the carts in Bushy Park all the way up to the big stages in the F1 world. Had a big win. I think one of his first wins in Monaco. This was way back when, a couple years ago, and he's proven to be a top-notch driver, top of his class, basically, and he's been given some opportunities at a team that is known to be a great F1 team in Red Bull. Your boy put up a post. I don't know if Rayvon got the post for you guys, a little snip, but
Nah, I ain't got it.
you gotta follow Zane Peoples. Your boy
Zane
making big
Maloney.
moves at Red Bull. He said he's gonna be a F1 reserve driver, which is huge. I don't think he'll be driving in any races for the particular season, but it's possible. Who knows? Both Red Bull drivers could get sick. It's probably not going to happen, but hey, we're just hoping. Just hoping at this point. Any thoughts from you guys on his career so far? Have you guys been following?
I've not been following closely as you guys are, you and Rayvon have been. But I will say, as a fellow Barbadian, this is great. I'm happy for him. This is great for Barbados, for our racing industry, our culture. We are big race fans here. And in fact, he started at Bushy Park, and he's now, as you said, a reserve driver for F1 for Red Bull. It's
Yeah.
fantastic, and it shows that once you
Also in the
put,
junior team too.
you're in team. Once you are committed, consistent, and you have a dream, you will constantly try to accomplish that dream, anything's possible. So I'm very happy for him. And what also must be noted too that he skipped the F2. If I'm not mistaken, he skipped the F2 level, I should say. He went from F3 to F1, which
I
is
don't
to me
think he
a pretty
skipped
good.
it.
He didn't
I don't
skip
think he
it.
skipped it. Yeah, it's kind of
He's a
hard to say
reserve.
that he skipped it. I just think that he's got the opportunity to be a reserve driver for the F1 team. Because they have a stipulation in place where they have to let reserve drivers get a feel for the F1 car throughout the season. So I think there's 2 sessions per driver where they'll give the reserve drivers an opportunity to drive their car. He'll probably be doing some simulator work for F1 as well. So he's going to get early exposure, but he's in the junior F1 team for right now. So
Okay,
who
that's great. And that's
like
great.
a lot has to go a certain way in order for him to get a race.
Mhm.
But I think he will be competing in the F2 season this year. He only had one race
Okay.
in F2, which was the final race in Abu Dhabi. So he's definitely going to be racing for Red Bull for the F2 season coming up. So I won't say he skipped it. I don't think he's
Okay.
that
Okay.
good, but yeah,
He's
I think
paving.
he
He's
has a
paving
good
with. He's paving
opportunity.
with for future racers from Barbados. Hopefully, some scouts come here. We get get some investment in the island, and you
For
never
sure,
know. You
for
have a
sure.
team of racers.
Where? Not in F1.
What the
Never know,
That's
Has.
pessimism?
You
us.
never
What the
know.
pessimism, my hands?
You never know, Has. You never know.
I mean,
10 years from now, we
yeah,
got three
sure,
drivers in F1.
sure. You never know. Yes, sure.
I think let me
Like,
put it in words for you, Hans. I think what Hans is
mhm.
trying to say is so hard. It's so hard for a big nation to get even two persons to represent the country
Yeah.
in F1. Is a full team of Bajans in F1? The
It's
odds
We
either
have
are
big,
that niche.
like
astronomical.
We have that niche.
on one hand, it's either big talent or big money.
Hmm.
Lance Stroll
We have
father got a
both.
lot of money, so he almost guaranteed to drive. Nicholas Latifi sponsors had a lot of money, so he
That
guaranteed
Bozo last
a
year too.
drive. So
He didn't
so
know
so
that.
he left.
Mazepin, he's horrid.
Nikita Mazepin also had has some big money there. So you know those people would tend to get opportunities quicker than talented drivers, but you gotta come up the ranks. You gotta be very good. Zane has shown a lot of talent, so he deserves to be there. It's possible that if the Bajans had a program that maybe we could develop some young drivers. Who knows? I know that only a few get to racing F1, but it doesn't mean that other people in the world don't have the talent to get that far. But you got to perform.
Okay,
You know what I
we got
mean? You have to
yeah,
perform.
we got a message in the chat from Bakari saying he got to get the super license points before he can actually race in the F1
Exactly.
race.
Exactly.
So thanks for that,
And
Noah
and,
Bakari.
and he's far from it. That's a very good point. Like he's far from the super license point. If you skip a whole season at F2, you got some driving to do to get that super license.
Mm.
Those require super license points in order to race. So hey, I'm rooting for him, no lie, because I've watched some of his races. He's very aggressive, and I see why Red Bull chose him. To be honest, like you got two Max Verstappen-esque drivers in the making to fill that role eventually. Um, you can got a good team, and you can really raise your chances of winning more championships in the future. So I don't know if you guys got any more thoughts on Zane and where he's going.
Let's just say he's going straight to the top. That's all you gonna say. He's going straight
I
to the top.
agree. I agree.
And
I
Hey,
agree.
he just win FIA Rookie of the Year as well.
For
So
the F3 season, right?
Yeah.
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 And that's
Eh,
also rookies for everything on the FIA. So
right.
F2, F1. Yeah.
Hmm.
So to win it from F3 is pretty impressive.
The funny thing is that he raced for the Trident team. So I
Yeah.
found that
Yeah, that
very
yeah,
very
I always
funny.
thought so too. Yeah, that's such a coincidence.
Yeah.
Even if it is.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Because who knows?
Yeah,
Who knows?
exactly.
But yeah, like he's showing good promise, and I've watched him, and he's got what it takes. He's aggressive on the passes. He's clean on the passes. So I think that this is a good investment for Red Bull. I just hope, like Hakim say, he puts in the work necessary, and he doesn't seem like a guy that is going to give you less than 100% when it comes to this stuff. So big shout outs to Zane, and I hope he gets to the top. Like Keon said, I hope he gets all the way. So yeah, for sure. Um, Thanks guys for joining us, Keon and Hakim. It's been a pleasure. Chatting
Always thank you.
chatting with you guys, like hearing some of the stuff that comes out your mouth sometimes,
It's not
makes me have
really
to take a sip of water, but it was a pleasure chopping it up with you
real.
guys today on the stream. I'm
It's been
pretty
a
sure
pleasure.
yeah, I'm pretty sure we're gonna see you
Yeah, I'll
this
be
week
back.
as well to talk about the semifinals and how that went and see who was right. That's gonna be
Yeah,
Yeah.
interesting too. So
yeah, I'll be
thanks for
back.
joining us.
All right, guys.
All right,
Have a good
Alright.
guys.
stream.
All right, you too.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, bye bye. All right, yeah, so we can switch over to some NBA in a second. All right, so just you and me, boy Hans.
Let me go, buddy. Let
We
me go.
here.
In the building. If you have up people's already hit that like button, we appreciate it. We appreciate it. I only seeing one like. You could do better than that, people.
See one.
So
Mm-hmm.
let me start to talk about our marquee matchup recap. The first one, the belly hurt that started off my week last week.
Boy, look, this week was terrible for the guys, man.
Yo,
I don't know what we was thinking. I
bro.
think we put we faith in somebody that was destined to let us down,
Yeah.
especially for this Lakers prediction. Uh,
Yup.
we should have known better.
Yup. Just as
And
it was getting good,
yeah,
it's like, and honestly, a part of me was like, you should never vote for Lakers. A part of me was like that, but I was so excited to
see,
see AD,
yeah,
come back and perform that. I was like, man, forget my feelings. Let
yeah,
me go with AD. Let me
yeah,
go with the logical. And well, this was a big hope too that he would actually stay on the
be
court
able to
and play.
play.
But
Yeah, well, I guess the way whole things were looking, he was looking to be in a relatively healthy state. But the funny
yeah,
thing about it is, it turned out to be like a flu or something like that he had. So
yeah,
it's not something that is typical injury. So he did play the game after this, but unfortunately he missed out this specific game. He started to
right.
play the game. He tried to play, but I think he had some reports saying that he had like a fever of 100 or something like that, which is crazy. I don't know how he was
Yeah, that
able
was
to
well.
be ready to play like the games kind of 2 days after. But
Mhm.
sad that we lost out on this prediction. All the guys, well, we know Hacking and pick Lakers regardless, but
Yeah, for sure. Like
all
he,
the guys
he
ended
he
with
he was
zero.
destined to lose anyway. Like if you go Lakers senselessly in predictions, he destined to lose.
Fair enough.
But also like Jarrett Allen, like he wasn't expected to be on the court either.
Yeah, that's the next thing. I was like,
And
I just see the man pop up. He was out.
yeah,
He was not. He got a few different statuses. Day to day is when there's a possibility that you could play, but you ain't really sure yet. You gotta see. You gotta come and do the warm ups, etc. He was literally out, and then all of a sudden, I
right.
just saw him on the court with his afro running up and down. I was like, huh?
My probably here.
He heard
AD got
LeBron was coming.
thrown.
Yeah, and AD was coming, and he said, "All right, let me go. Let me get this thing started."
Yeah, like I don't know, man.
Yeah,
Like it is what it is.
it is what
Tough
it is.
loss. I learned my lesson. I will feel better if I had voted against Lakers and actually lost. Because
Okay, fair enough.
I would then say, okay, Lakers, I see you, but to jump on the hype as Lakers was on the raise and then lose out is like, jeez, man.
Boy,
Could never bank on Lakers, boy. Um,
sadly.
right? Sadly. So Hawks at Knicks. I didn't personally watch this game because I thought there were some more interesting games that caught my attention, but
Yeah.
maybe you could give us
Um,
Some
Me too.
feedback
I
on this
didn't.
one.
I just saw the score. The Hawks were destroying the. I mean, the Knicks were destroying the Hawks from the start to the finish, pretty much. um, I did not expect this result, given Trey
No
Young
one did.
came. Trey Young came in with his shoes king of Broadway, all sorts of bravado and boastfulness and all sorts of things, and then come in and get dismantled by Julius Randle specifically, and the Knicks. Julius Randle had 30, I think 34 on the night, and
That's a big
was
game.
late so 37 on the night actually. I was late so
Yeah.
from three had 6 to 10. And when I watched by the highlights, it was like they just left Julius Randle pretty much open for all these threes that he scored,
Oh,
and he just
also,
cashed them in. They weren't
I
guarding him.
guess that yeah, I guess that they thought he
Yeah, that
probably
was it. I can
couldn't make
understand that
it
being the game plan
a good
because
gamble.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's
but
fair.
after the third tree though,
Yeah, exactly,
you got kind of tighten
exactly,
up.
exactly.
You can't be hanging around thinking, man, he got to miss one.
Exactly.
You know,
You
like,
can't relax when you realize, oh, these men feeling good. So at the end of the day, at the end of the game, sorry, the
yeah,
Knicks end up shooting 50%, almost 50% from three, 47.7%, because they were just pretty much giving up the three a lot. I mean, again, probably part of the game plan was the Knicks don't shoot a lot of threes and they don't score them well. Not tonight. So if you realize that they ain't working, you gotta switch it up some bit, and they just didn't find that making of the trees fuel the Knicks into just getting whatever they want all over the floor. But
correct.
shout out to Julius Randle and Quentin Grimes. They combined for 11 of the 17 threes that the Knicks would have scored.
Hmm.
And the Hawks just let down and out, truthfully. And the proclaimed King of Broadway was nowhere to be found.
Yeah, more like a peasant,
Yeah.
peasant Broadway. Suns at Pelicans, a big game
A
for
massive game.
Zion.
Yeah, and I think we could just talk about this game and segue into our conversation that we're gonna have about Zion on a whole
Hmm.
tonight. I saw this matchup and I was like, the NBA did a nice thing. Have two games, the Sun versus Pelicans, and two
Yeah,
consecutive games, the Suns versus Pelicans for them. And they
yep.
smiled when they saw it. And actually, they're playing 3 games this month. So they played
That's
one
crazy.
game last month, and
Yeah,
this would be 3 games a month. So pretty much their series will be finished because they have 4 matchups against each other.
4 games. Yeah.
Yeah. So I saw this and smiled. I was just like, I want to know what I was doing. last last season in the playoffs, the Pelicans took the Suns to a surprising 7-game series that
Yeah.
needed some extreme, I would call it, who rates from Chris Paul to bring it home for the Suns, I would call it.
Yeah.
And from that moment on, this Suns Pelicans rivalry has begun. Had begun.
Yeah.
Uh, so in this game, the whole controversy again, I can put it up on the screen for everyone to see. Zion at the end of the game,
Are you sitting on
well,
the kick?
well within,
Disrespectful.
yes, the disrespect, well within
Yeah.
victory for the game, went up and just threw down a ridiculous 360
360
alley oop dunk
windmill. Ah!
on the Pelicans
Exclamation
on
mark
the
on the
Suns,
game,
sorry,
man. Yeah.
for the game. Like I don't
Exclamation
know.
mark.
It,
I honestly don't know why players. I guess is an unwritten rule or respect that if you lead in by a certain amount, you
yeah,
don't go back and score.
yeah, it
But
is an
I
unwritten rule.
yeah, but I also saw this against the Celtics. I can't remember which team they were playing, but
Hmm.
m- my guy from the opposition just maintain and get easily up. Up his stats because man's need that stats for NBA 23. You know?
But this specific play is beyond stats. So
Yeah,
after the
that's true.
game,
That's true.
after the game,
That's utter
yeah,
disrespect for
Zion was
real.
asked about it, and I think he provided a pretty fair answer. He was just like, to paraphrase him, or to summarize what he was saying, he was just like, he know what happened in the series. He was there. He watched the series, the 7 game series last season. He was there to witness how his teammates were in the locker room about the game and what's not. So
Hmm.
he was like, you can understand, or you don't, or you can't, or you won't understand. But
Yeah.
If you understand, you do. So, like, we understand Zion. You have some history with this team stemming from the playoffs, and you just want to put some icing on the cake, some razzle dazzle on the
Yeah.
play. Uh, I done with it. I done with it. I up for the rivalry. I like the competitive edge. I like the competitive spirit that it would bring out to the Suns every time we get a Suns Pelicans matchup. And
For sure.
a lot of people say that's what we're missing in the NBA. There are not a lot of real rivalries in the NBA, and
Hmm.
that's something that we can try to touch on tonight if you have the time. Um, but this is something that's brewing to be something that's probably going to last a little while. Uh,
Yeah.
CP3 is an antagonist in more situations. Anything, I think a lot of players dislike CP3. Uh,
Yeah.
Zion is probably no part of that list. So, uh, it's going to be an interesting time as these teams match up,
Yeah.
continuing for the rest of the season. So,
What happened in the second game?
in the second game, Zion went off, so he had a double ganger in points. 35 points in
Hmm.
this game that we would have had for our marquee matchup, and
Right.
35 points last night in the next game where the Pelicans win against the Suns. Just to note in that
Back to
game
back
last night, yeah,
victories.
back-to-back victories against against the Suns. Sorry, uh, just to note in that second game, Devin Booker was out due to injury,
Mhm.
I think. Uh, but we can
Due to
use that to
injury or
segue into
shirking.
Zion. Back to back 35-point games from Zion. 70 points in the last two games on one team. They must feel embarrassed. But
Yep.
Zion currently is averaging 30 points, 9 rebounds, and 5 assists over the last 7 games. And to me, he's looking like he's in, prime form to make his way into the MVP conversation.
For sure. If he can keep it up, that
Yeah,
is.
again, I was about to segue into Zion for his career has not been the healthiest star player that you would want, for your
Yeah.
franchise. And one thing we can say about him is that when he has been right, he has been exceptional in terms of his productivity and impact on the court. And it's only been 20 something games, but it's been lovely to see him pretty much. Yeah, I think he was out a few games already for the season, but it's been lovely to see him actually get some playing time and time to get acclimated, time to ramp up, find a groove, find a rhythm, and I really think it's starting to kick in right now. And I must say that all of this is being done with CJ McCollum experiencing some downtime due to some injuries also, and Brandon
Yeah.
Ingram being out for a little while now, and he's been the one that's galvanizing the team, not really putting them on the back because they have some decent role players, but yes, to some
Right.
extent, being the on-court leader and being aggressive in the game. Um, Given a lot of defensive effort, I can see it. Zion has really improved on the defensive end. If you look at his defensive rating from 2 seasons ago, the last season that he played, I would say a significant bulk of games. He had a,
Hmm.
a 111.7 rating. This season, he has a 104.7 rating, a whole 7 point difference in terms of defensive efficiency from Zion when he's on the court. Uh, so he really picked it up on that end, and that has been one of the most impressive parts for me. Generally speaking, people know where Zion is going to go. People know where Zane is going to score from. He's not a three-point
Hmm.
shooter. He's not a mid-range shooter. He's going to dunk it on you. He's going to get to the basket. And this is
For
one of the,
sure.
a player is dominant when it's something that Zion knows, and his defender knows what Zion is going to do. But you
But they
still can't
can't
stop
stop
it. You
it.
still can't stop it. Like,
Can't stop the train,
he's
bro.
going to rip through drop step. Troy, don't are you rip through drop step, gets to the basket for underhand um, layup,
Hmm.
reverse layup with all types of acrobaticness, for lack of a better term,
Yeah. Yeah.
and still finish on you as such a big guy. Goes up with the ball, misses his shot. Second jump is so quick, gets back up to get his own offensive rebound before the other team could even react. Uh,
Yeah.
a freak of an athlete, and is really, you know, putting it together and showing out on that end. Also, we can't forget to mention he's probably not touted as such a big playmaker, but his playmaking has been good. He's had a couple of games with 8 assists in this stretch of 7 games, and it's been
Mhm.
been fun to see. So Zion is really on the come up,
We got to
and
keep an eye on Zion, boy,
we gotta keep an eye on for him in the MVP conversation.
for
Truthfully
sure.
speaking,
Like if this could perpetuate throughout, I guess up to like end of January, I expect Zion to be in this conversation with well, AD might be leaving this conversation if he keeps up this injury
yeah,
proneness about him.
sad to say.
Um, yeah, and it would have been a good conversation if everybody was healthy because we would get a nice back and forth.
Yeah,
Um, look at the advantages and disadvantages, for lack of better terms, between each player.
hmm
Um, like what they're able to bring to their team and what's not, as it relates to becoming the MVP, right? Obviously, we will have to look at their team's record, their winning record and what's not, and then
yeah.
their contributions, and then try to weigh back and forth to see who would have been the most valuable player.
Got a couple
But
seconds
before that
left.
said,
Yeah,
we'll transition into a break, and then we'll be back shortly
yeah,
to
yeah.
talk about some more basketball. So stay tuned, people. Don't go anywhere too fast. Just like that, people, we're back. I told you not to go anywhere too fast. We'll be right back. Um, so yeah, like I was saying, that that conversation of MVP would have been very interesting. Um, having everyone who's in the conversations thus far, well, in our conversation at least, healthy. Thoughts on that, and how you think that might go and how that might play out up to the playoffs.
I'm thinking that the Pelicans are in a good position right now as a team to be, if not to be in the contention for a title. This might be a big statement, a big surprise for a lot of
Hmm.
persons, but one of the key things that I think a great team always showcases is when their star players are out, how well can the team play? Yes,
Hmm.
Zion hasn't been the one that's been out majority of the time. It's been Brandon Ingram and CJ McCollum. But the evidence they have from this team, this is like kind of like the Grizzlies team last year. John Morant was
Yeah.
out for an extended period of time, but they still found a way to win. And I'm seeing that evidence from the Pelicans team. It is a deeper team than I thought it would have been. Truthfully, and
Hmm.
I just feel like that is a sign of a team that can make it very far in the postseason for the NBA. And if Zion stays healthy and continues this play, they will have every chance if they continue this and being a top five offensive team or top five defensive team at the same time usually is a recipe for either a conference finals appearance or if not that a second round appearance in the postseason. So
Hmm.
it have pretty high aspirations because it can be a fluke, especially when you rank so highly in both defensive and offensive metrics. And it is not there's no reason for me not to expect them to make it there, given this performance that they've been able to sustain so far. A number one seed in the West. On top of that,
Correct. I agree. Like if you showing that even without two viable players that you could be, I guess this I don't want to say dominant, but you can still be proficient enough to bag wins on a consistent basis.
yeah,
You definitely have what it takes. So like I say, I'll be keeping my eyes on the Pelicans. a good solid team, and I'm pretty sure we'll have some fun watching them
Yeah.
throughout the season.
What I want, I guess what I could say, I could compare them to what I thought the Suns were. Well, not what I thought, what the Suns were in their 60-win season last season. A well-oiled machine.
Hmm.
I could say, when in this case, when certain parts are working and other parts taking the slack where necessary, and
Yeah,
just getting the job done at the end of the day.
that that's all that matters.
Exactly.
Getting the job done. You need to get the job done. Um, l- you've mentioned or hinted at the rivalries that the the NBA was sort of lacking. Um, let's talk about the rivalries in the NBA right now as it stands, in light of the Suns and Pelicans rivalry that's about to be one of the biggest in the NBA this year. Um, start us off. I don't know
Um,
which rivalry you want to start with, but
well, we touched on the Suns versus Pelicans. I gave a little bit of history about it, even
yeah,
though the history is quite recent.
yeah,
um,
can do Wolves, Timberwolves, and the
yeah, we could
Grizzlies.
do Timberwolves and the Grizzlies. The first question I ask myself, is it a real rivalry? Because we have some total rivalries in the NBA that are not really rivalries, or that we haven't even seen come to fruition. So the
Hmm.
Wolves and the Grizzlies, another recent history event. Wolves
Yeah,
played the Grizzlies last playoff in the first round. They got beat by the Grizzlies, but there was a lot of fight. It was truthfully that was one of the more fun postseason series that we had. Even though it was kind of sloppy in some cases,
hmm,
kind of, let me see, undisciplined. I think that's the best place say it, word best, yeah, best phrase to use for this specific case. And
hmm,
this specific rivalry would not have started just in the postseason though. During the regular season, the Timberwolves and the Grizzlies, for whatever reason, uh, had a few competitive matchups. There was a pretty big game where it was going down to the wire. Cat hit this big three to tie the game and send it into overtime. Um, it was some close games with Jamorant, you know, did Jamorant stuff and in the clutch and kind of dances his way to the basket. However he does it, uh,
yeah,
close games and what's not. It would have stemmed from back then, and I think it just fueled into the playoffs, given that they were the matchup because they're two young teams, have a lot of upside and promise, and have that spirit, that energy about them, that want to go and run, go and attack, and I guess they just fed off of that. There's a lot of antics with the Grizzlies, more specifically after the games, especially when they beat the Timberwolves. Jamorant dancing. He seems to get it for this specific matchup.
right.
Truthfully, goes the extra mile to be extra animated, especially when they
Mhm.
win.
Yeah,
So it all stems from there, and I could say that as a rivalry. And Anthony Edwards himself has said that that's a game that he looks forward to and he gets up for when they come to match up. So I'm pretty sure the same could be said for Ja.
fair, fair point. Um, the king of Los Angeles, or kings, I should say.
But that's the thing. LA
Like
versus
who?
LA.
Clippers, Clippers, or Lakers?
LA versus LA has been one of those rivalries that haven't turned into actual rivalry up to this day.
Yeah,
From the time Kawhi signed with the Clippers, we had this whole advertisement with New Balance and thing talking about Kawhi's the king of LA. They get into the bubble and get beat by the Devon Nuggets. When that specific matchup was supposed to be the matchup of the postseason for that specific year, get beat by the Nuggets. Embarrassing. Ever since that point, Kawhi and Paul George have been in and out, injury after injury, and
yeah,
hasn't lived up to the status of what we thought that team could be. Lakers, on the other hand, went into that 2020 season, won the championship. They were ready. Lakers were there waiting for the Clippers to come out and face them because there was a lot of of tension for that specific matchup,
Right.
speared by the claim of Kawhi Leonard to be the king of LA, and LeBron is still in tone. Um, but again, they fell short, embarrassingly so, and to me never have recovered from that point, both figuratively and physically, and continue to just be a hopeful team going into each NBA season because you never know what's going to happen with Kawhi, and Paul George
Yeah.
always finds a way to get injured. It seems so. It's not really a real rivalry. It's just a hopeful one that never came to
Yeah.
fruition, and I don't think we'll see it going forward.
You don't think so?
Nah.
Well, maybe if Kawhi stopped taking sick days and actually play.
But no, the roles are flipped because is AD now with a bunch of injuries. LeBron himself too getting down in age. Like the
Yeah,
sign for that rivalry has passed. Uh, they need to look
that's
for a
a
new
fair
one.
point. Yeah. Knicks versus Hawks. You've
Yeah,
mentioned this
yeah,
game where they let Julius Randle loose,
yeah.
but
Pretty much stemming
and
from that to
yeah, and
the
Trey Young's
reason.
antics before the
Yeah,
game too,
correct.
pre-game.
Reason why it chose that game as a marquee matchup, truthfully, because they have this little rivalry going on, and I would say the rivalry is less of a team based rivalry. It's more like Trey Young versus the Knicks fans, in my opinion. Really
Fair
and
enough.
truly, that's really rivalry lays, and it
Yeah.
stems from their playoff matchup in the 2020-2021 playoffs, where Trey Young would have been exceptional in that game. The fans were, trying to get into his head, and he, was clapping back with the fans a lot, and that's pretty much where the rivalry began. And every time you see any Knicks fans talking about anything, it was who was at the tip of their tongue? Trey Young. they couldn't get enough. They couldn't get enough of trying to shame him or trying to play it down on him, given that he would have come in there and dominated their Knicks team that had looked pretty good for that was the fourth seed in that season. Uh,
Right.
I guess they couldn't really get over it, but so every time Trey Young is there, there's always heat with the fans and Trey Young, etc., etc. But this is where he gets up for that game, and he didn't get up for this the last one that they played, but he gets up for that game pretty often, given that 2020-2021 playoff. So I would say it's a rivalry, but between Trey Young and the fans.
Yeah. Not a really team base.
Yes.
Nets versus Sixers. No, we know trades have been made last season into the summer, whatever, whenever trades have been made, and this is a rivalry that might be expected, but we can hear from the general to see if it's actually a rivalry or if it's just two teams hoping to beat one another because of the trades.
I think this is a pending rivalry. I think it would be if everyone was available when they do play.
Yeah.
The first matchup that they had with Ben Simmons returning to the Sixers, um, did I think he did play, but I think Harden was out. Like for
Hmm.
example, um, so it didn't give you like Harden and I think Embiid was out also because there was a time where Embiid and Harden were out. So
Yeah,
it didn't give you
that
that.
was actually recently.
Yeah,
Like, yeah.
I think that was last month. Um, so
Well,
it didn't we
so
didn't
much
get.
NBA games played
Yeah,
recently is kind of
yeah,
relative. So
it's
yeah,
true.
yeah. That's true. Yeah, that's my point.
So we didn't get to see it the way that we would want to. But I believe, given that, and Kyrie was also out too. Gotta remember
Yeah.
that part. So know that Kyrie is back. Ben Simmons is there. James Harden is back. Embiid is back. I don't know where the
Durant a
Nets.
part of this
Yeah,
rivalry
yeah,
too.
yeah. Durant a part of this
Yeah,
rivalry
Durant part.
because it's
Yeah.
stemming from the fact that he would have put his trust in James Harden to be want to be a part of the team, and he was just like, nah, I ain't about this no more. I requested a
Mhm.
trade. Um,
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of two sided because KD did request a trade also, but I just
Yeah.
stemming from that specific moment where it was James Harden the one that's trying to get out of the situation. Um, I feel like that is where the tension begins. And I think too,
Mhm.
when the trade did happen last year, they did match up against the Sixers, and that was a very competitive game. Kyrie took it personally. I don't know
Right.
if there's something that there was some tension between. I believe there was some tension between James Harden or Kyrie specifically, but that game, the Nets came out. Kyrie played the most inspired defense I ever seen him play in his life in that matchup last year, and
I
the
guess
Nets
too,
came out
it
with a
was
win.
it was bragging rights in a way too, because
Yeah,
like you guys just left you
yeah,
and
exactly.
like the trade happened so close to the
Hmm.
time that Kyrie came back. It was
Yeah,
like couldn't wait a little bit longer, and that is probably what
right.
you know,
It was
got him
fresh.
off.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
exactly.
was
Like that
fresh.
that that got him off, and like, he probably was just trying to prove a point. Like
Hmm.
you left a good solid team,
Yeah,
and then of course the saga continued with the whole thing. But yeah,
yeah.
yeah, that's true.
So I think there's a rivalry in the making, and the only thing that would determine it, would give it rivalry status, is when we see the Nets play with all the players that were involved in training healthy, to
Yeah,
get the most of the game. I think it's going to be an exciting game. I got to try to mark that game on my calendar. I didn't check up to see when it's going to be, um, but look out for that, NBA fans. I think that would be one of the Nets. No big rivalries up and coming.
facts. I agree, and I'm also looking forward to it. I think I am favoring Nets in this rivalry.
Mm,
I don't know who you favor in this rivalry, but I think it's going to be interesting. Joel Embiid, he's going to do his thing, get to the lane. All these all these ghost fouls that he gets, he probably going to get to the lane more often than not. I don't think James Harden is going to be James Harden people expect, so that's going to make it interesting as well.
mm,
And then the Nets will be counting on Ben Simmons to dish the ball as efficiently as possible.
yeah.
Recently, though, in the Nets, just a quick mention, I've seen too many loose turnovers from KD's handles,
Hmm.
like too many. So I don't know if he'd be put on point for these rivalry games. We call it rivalry games for
Hmm.
now. But I think with a healthy Nets team, I don't see Durant playing too much point, which would benefit them
Yeah.
in the long run.
No, I can see what you're saying, but Durant just gets so much defensive attention that it's inevitable for him to have turnovers at some point. He's not perfect, so
Yeah, yeah, true, true. But I mean, let the handlers handle the ball for the
fair
most
enough.
part, you
Yeah,
know.
he's a pretty flexible player. He's a plug and play player. You could like put him anywhere, and he would try and find a way to be himself.
Yeah. Um, Celtics and Warriors. Is this a rivalry?
I call it an automatic rivalry because any past finals teams that go against each other, the the NBA usually advertises it
Mhm.
as a rivalry, and I think understandably so. You're the last two teams playing it out for the biggest prize of the NBA season. It's only fair that you play with the highest competition whenever you guys meet up again.
Mhm.
There's the team that's losing is probably going to have some bad feeling about it, and you want to find some way to get back at them, even though yes it's not in the finals again, but you know have some sort of bragging rights to say on this day, even though we lost or even though we won, I'm still the better team, or I'm the better team. No, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm. Yeah.
So whoever ends up being the fight who in the finals this season again will probably be touted as rivals to some extent. A true rivalry would have been the Cavs and Warriors consecutive, appearances with one another in the finals. Like, if I would call that like a real true rivalry because they're always in the regular season. Those games were always hot, and
Right.
because of that finals experience that they have against each other. So, um, if the Celtics do repeat, the Celtics and the Warriors do repeat, or meet each other again in the finals again, um, I'm pretty sure we would have a more stapled rivalry into the calendar. But right now they have it just on the basis of being finals teams, and we know that they'll go at each other this season, at least. I don't know how much going forward.
Fair point. Fair point. I mean, if they could get to the finals again,
Yeah,
that'd be very interesting.
yeah,
And then the pot would be boiling for sure.
for sure.
After that one, especially if Warriors had to win again, the Celtics would be
Yeah.
Celtics would be furious.
at that point, maybe then it is not that much of a rivalry then, because depending on how it happens, then
Yeah,
it becomes a
like
domination.
if it goes on to the seventh game,
Yeah,
overtime, lucky shot
yeah,
off the
yeah,
glass from near the logo or
yeah,
something, some
yeah.
throw up, fluke. Yeah, for sure. Um, Market matchups for this week coming:
hmm
Warriors at Bucks.
Um, yeah. I
This is an
go
interesting one.
I go with the Bucks in this one.
Yeah, Bucks.
Um, I
This is an
I don't want to
interesting
give
one.
too much thought on it. I just think the Bucks are one of the teams. I would say there are three teams, two teams, three teams, two teams. No, three. Yeah, three teams that I would consider leagues above the rest of the NBA right now. The Bucks, the Celtics, and the Pelicans. Those three teams in the status of their own. The Warriors have been quite up and down for majority of the season. They've had some spots where they've been finding their groove, and now they have some spots where they've lost um, as a collective. But I'd put my money on the Bucks to win this game.
Fair enough.
How about you?
I mean, Lakers beat Bucks, but that was when AD was in, so
Yeah.
that's not a good measure of who might win this game. Bucks is definitely the bigger team,
hmm
generally speaking. But I think Warriors could go off in this game. To be honest, I,
You got me a
Warriors. We're
pick,
going with the
huh?
Warriors. We're going with the
Alright, Warriors.
Warriors.
Alright, easy. Alright, the next matchup is Cavs at
That's
Mavs.
ask, but
Uh,
ooh, this one. This should I go with Luca? Luca's been playing good basketball recently.
mhm.
Mm, let's go with
I,
Mavs.
recently, look have been playing basketball the whole season.
Let's go with Mavs. Mavs show me that even like Mavs team aside from Lucas showed me that they could support well. So I go
um,
with the Mavs.
I, I beg to differ there. I can take a risk on the Cavs this toss.
I liking how this going, boy.
Yeah, I take a risk on the Cavs this toss. Uh, we see what
And I got
happens.
Wizards. Forget Clippers.
Wizards at Clippers.
Yeah,
You got Wizards.
forget Clippers. I put my trust in them.
I can't really put my trust in the Clippers. I could say the same for the Wizards to some extent.
Yeah, but I liking how Kyle playing right now,
hmm
and the support of the rest of the cast. They're playing good basketball, so I would like to see them. I can be like Hakim now. I would love Wizards to
hmm ah, well, I mean, the Clippers are actually playing decent basketball, not too bad. I know
yeah,
Kawhi has
I
played
mean
a couple games here and there recently.
they they have the players to do well,
hmm
but they're they're not as cohesive as they can be
Yeah,
right now.
I got you.
It's all a lot of individual pockets here and
hmm
there. Sometimes they're on for the night, sometimes they're not, and if they ain't on, then you gotta expect something to come from the rest of the team.
Right.
And th- like when you're in the betting game, it's not really anything to go by. It's almost like a hail mary. Like
hmm
let's hope that this is going to work out.
I
So
guess.
I want the Washington Wizards to come on top on this one.
I can go the other way. I go the Clippers, man. Even though I ain't really sure, I give them the
I
benefit
liking
of
how
the
this turning out. Uh,
I give them the
I like it.
benefit of the doubt for
Yeah.
this specific game. Hopefully, Kawhi
Basically,
plays.
people, this this week is Hatso versus Rayvon this week. That's how
Fair
this
enough.
week looking right now. Hatso versus Rayvon. Bucks versus Warriors. Mavs versus Cavs.
Yeah.
Wizards versus Clippers.
So
Oh my!
we see how it
I,
goes.
this is gonna be. I liking it. I liking
hmm
it. A nice little mix up. Nice little mix up. But I think I got some good picks here. I just banking on some things to happen,
Yeah.
like any better would, and we see how it goes.
Yes, sir.
Um, Any final thoughts on the NBA side of things?
No,
Any games you're looking forward to?
um,
I got a game I'm looking forward to too, but you know,
not quite. It just there's a big middle class in the NBA right now, and I'm looking to just waiting for the teams that want to be better to break away from that middle class and separate themselves. A lot of
yeah,
teams just hovering above 500 with either a 500 record or like 2 games above it. That could probably sway
right,
either way. Standings are close on both conferences in the middle of the pack. So I just want to see some separation, some teams differentiate themselves as better squads as the next
mhm,
couple of weeks goes on, and to give an idea how things may be shaping out postseason ways. It's a little bit early, but not even just a little bit over the quarter mark for the season. A lot of basketball left to play, but usually at this time and into the late All Star break and stuff, teams start to kind of separate themselves. So interested to
right.
see how it goes.
Fair enough. Any like predictions in terms of like what may happen based on your original prediction before the season started? Like you
Um,
expect teams to, well, teams already start shifting, but
yeah.
do do you think it will level back out to what you had before, just generally, or
Uh, I think the only team that I want to bank on their downfall, not for any specific reason. I just feel like the Suns are better than I thought they would be, given the issues that I know that they would have had. And then
yeah,
compounding that is the issues that they're experiencing currently. I just feel like their bench is not that great, and they
mhm,
need to make a trade, truthfully. And if they don't, they'll continue to fall, especially given the fact that Chris Paul is not performing on the level that he was last year. I think Father
yeah,
Time is catching up with him, and Devin Booker is no out with the issue. And
right,
when those two guys aren't there, I don't know how that team operates, and I don't know how Epic could buy on Chris Paul being healthy for the entire time that Booker is out. So they may be a team that's surprisingly on the latter part of the standings, maybe coming in the next 3 or 4 weeks. Sacramento Kings specifically, I feel like they would be a team that separates themselves from the rest in the middle of the pack in the West.
mhm,
And in the East, I like Brooklyn is coming up to where I place them to be in the standings at the end of it. They're in the fourth seed right now. A lot of people didn't think that they would get there given how the season would have started.
yeah,
So interested to see how far they go. The Hawks have been a little bit disappointing. I'm not sure what's going on there. Uh, so it's going to be interesting how they navigate these rough waters ahead, given they made a relatively big trade for a new player coming
mhm.
into the season. So there's 4 teams that keeping an eye on into that kind of in the middle of the pack, but some have a trajectory upward, some have a trajectory downward.
Fair enough.
Hmm.
Fair enough. Good good looking and insight into that. We definitely keep an eye on those teams. But peoples, that's basically been it for this stream. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I certainly did. Thanks again, everyone, for coming on and chopping it up.
Of course.
Um, in football, FIFA World Cup, and in NBA. People, thank you for joining us, and it's been Hastro Bros. We see you later, family.